NFL quarterbacks shoot for a lot of goals. The first one is to make it to the pros. Check. The next is to be great. Check. Then it's to win the Super Bowls. Check. After that, they want to be the best ever. But to be the man, woo, you got to beat the man. And you beat the man by breaking his records. Some of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history didn't necessarily have any mind-blowing seasons. Spoiler alert, Brett Favre, a three-time NFL MVP, isn't even on this list. But nobody will deny how great he was. I'm Daquan Young, and today we look at the 10 greatest seasons by quarterbacks in NFL history. Number 10, Peyton Manning, 2004. Manning had already established himself as the NFL's best quarterback. In 2004, the Sheriff threw 49 touchdown passes, breaking the NFL record. He only tossed 10 interceptions and totaled 4,557 passing yards. Manning won his second NFL MVP, but the New England Patriots held the Colts' juggernaut offense to 3 points in the AFC divisional round. Manning had his MVP season come to an end, but not before putting up the NFL's greatest season. Well, the NFL's greatest season up until 2007. We'll elaborate more shortly. Number 9, Y.A. Tittle, 1963. Tittle was one of the NFL's great quarterbacks from the early days, playing at an elite level during the 50s and 60s when most of you weren't even born. Tittle was a 7-time Pro Bowler, but his main accomplishment was as easily his 1963 season. Tittle tossed an incredible 36 touchdowns and 14 interceptions, completing 60.2% of his passes for 3,145 yards. Tittle's season was remarkable considering it wasn't as easy to be an elite passer back in the 60s. Pro football was all about defense and the run game back then. Tittle's New York Giants would fall to the Chicago Bears in the NFL championship game, though, as Tittle battled through a knee injury. Number 8, Kurt Warner, 1999. Warner had an interesting career. He was a superstar in the Arena Football League, but wasn't able to land an NFL job. He became a grocery store stock boy, only for the Rams to develop an interest in him. Warner became the Rams quarterback and ran an offense known as the greatest show on turf. In 1999, he tossed 4,353 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. He won the league MVP and guided his team to a Super Bowl championship. Warner also took home Super Bowl MVP honors. Number 7, Joe Montana, 1984. The 4-time Super Bowl champion is considered among the best quarterbacks ever. For those who say the stats don't back up his GOAT status, well, we beg to differ. In 1984, Montana completed 64.6% of his passes for 3,630 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions, and his 49ers wound up winning the Super Bowl. Montana won Super Bowl MVP as well. Yeah, it was a good year to be Joe Cool. Number 6, Drew Brees, 2011. You kind of feel sorry for Drew Brees. The stats show he's on the level of Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. The lack of support around him usually means no playoffs, resulting in Brees always being overlooked. His 2011 season can sometimes go unnoticed as well, since the Saints didn't win the Super Bowl and because someone else had a better 2011 season. But in that year, Brees was awesome. He completed 468 passes for 5,476 yards, 46 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. His 5,476 yards were an NFL record for 2 years until it was broken by someone else on this list in 2013. Number 5, Aaron Rodgers, 2011. Expectations were lofty for Rodgers' Packers. They were the defending Super Bowl champions after all. Rodgers followed it up by throwing for 4,643 yards, 45 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He had a passer rating of 122.5, which is the best ever in a single season. He ran away with the league MVP award and guided his Packers to a 15-1 record. However, the New York Giants' monstrous pass rush had an answer for his seemingly unstoppable offense, and the Packers were upset at Lambeau Field in the divisional round to the eventual Super Bowl champions. Number 4, Dan Marino, 1984. Marino was the NFL's best pure pocket passer during the 80s and for much of the 90s, but lacking Super Bowl rings has held back his status as being the best ever. Still, his 1984 season shall always remain among the greatest ever. In just his second NFL season, Marino passed for 5,084 yards and 48 touchdowns, setting records in both categories as well as 4 others. But his Miami Dolphins would fall to Joe Montana's San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl. Marino's passing yards record held up for 27 years, and his touchdown record lasted 20 years, only to be broken by Brees and Manning respectively. Marino would win the MVP that year. Number 3, Steve Young, 1994. Overshadowed in many ways by the legend of Montana, Steve Young was still a 3-time Super Bowl champion with the San Francisco 49ers. No athlete had ever had so much pressure on them to fill the shoes of a departed legend, but Young was up for it. Young's 1994 season was hands down his best. He won league MVP with 3,969 yards, 35 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Young would guide his team to the Super Bowl championship that year and was named MVP for throwing for 325 yards and a ridiculous 6 touchdowns in a win over the Chargers. Number 2. Tom Brady, 2007. The legend of Brady in New England was already a strong one. He won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots, but wanted more. Entering his age 30 season, he had a future Hall of Fame wide receiver in Randy Moss join his team. Brady only threw for 50 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 4,806 yards, and had a rating of 117.2. His Patriots had the first ever 16-0 regular season, but their quest to be a perfect 19-0 ended when the New York Giants shocked them in Super Bowl 42. Number 1, Peyton Manning, 2013. Come on, there's no debate here. In 2011, everyone questioned if the Sheriff would ever play again after sitting out the season with neck injuries. But his 2013 season showed he had plenty left. Manning led his Broncos to a total of 606 points scored, breaking the previous record set by the 2007 Patriots. His 5,477 passing yards and 55 touchdowns became NFL records, breaking Brady's mark of 50 in 2007 by a mile. Manning only threw 10 interceptions that year, but his Denver Broncos were throttled by the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl. Even if it ended in heartbreak, Manning still managed to post the best season ever by a quarterback. Which quarterback do you think belongs on this list? Join us in the comments below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps us out a ton and we truly appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to Total Pro Sports though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.